So let's say you have to read an incredibly long email from your boss that you have to finish before the big meeting starts in 10 minutes.
Okay, hello and good evening everybody. First of all, thank you so much to Joanna especially for inviting me here. It's really nice to sort of see a big audience. I'm under the lights, so thank you for coming. So I'm going to talk to you today, or tonight rather, about a program of research that I've been doing now for probably almost 10 years, I think, on the psychology of conspiracy theories. And if any of you want to read academic papers, then you can go to my website and download a few. And the talk that I'm going to give today is largely based on a theoretical perspective that we've tried to put together recently on the psychology of belief in conspiracy theories, which is this paper here, if you're that way inclined and you would like to read it. Okay, oh, I've got a clicker. I think this is going to work. Yes, okay. So, when you think about conspiracy theories, you might think about things like whether or not Elvis is still alive somewhere, and people many years ago helped him to fake his death for whatever reason he might have wanted to do that. So he might be still alive somewhere. You might also think about whether or not the Earth is flat, or whether or not the Earth is hollow. That's another theory as well. And of course, scientific consensus is actually hiding the truth about the fact that the Earth is flat or hollow. You might also think about
But, you know, I don't apologize to the guy at the bank. I owe taxes, right? I owe taxes up in fucking Canada. So my accountant goes, you have to go to the bank. I'm going to send you an email with all the fucking account information. They can wire it up there. Bing, bang, boom, done. So I say, fine. So I go up, I download the thing. I bring my laptop. I fucking get this David Blaine looking dude, at the bank to help me out, right? So we walk into his cubicle area. We sit down. I have all the information on the computer screen. He starts going, read me the VIN number. I know it's not that, but you know what I mean. And I'm like, what number? He's like, that number there. Read that to me. So I read it to him. He goes, all right, read me the next number. I go, which number? He goes, read me that number. And then I just finally look at him. I go, what do I work here? He's like, excuse me? I go, I feel like I work here right now. I'm like, look, just turn it around. Here's all the information. Type it in. And he goes, well, it's going to go quicker or something like that. And then he just kind of got quiet, right? I'm just fucking sitting there. And then after a couple minutes, he just kind of goes like, you know, I don't understand, like, why you got upset there. I go, well, I'm not upset. I'm just calling you out on the fact you start treating me like your secretary. I don't work here. He goes, I'm not treating you like your secretary. I go, yeah, you are. You got me, like, reading off numbers and stuff. He goes, I'm just doing that because it'll be faster. And I go, well, I disagree. Well, what the fuck am I? You understand? You work at the bank. You're at the bank. You work at the bank. You get paid to work at the fucking bank. I'm the customer. This is what I need you to do. Do the fucking transaction. Jesus fucking Christ. These fucking goddamn, I'm going to say it, these kids today, everything about them is, it's interactive. Hey, man, like, hey, you know, fucking reach out through the fucking interweb, man. Fuck off and do your job. But I didn't say any of that. I just said I disagree. That's the best I could do. But I just couldn't believe, he was like, but he was, what kills me is he's walking around saying that I'm a dick, which I am. I admit to that, but I'm fucking right. I got to sit there and read off fucking numbers to you? He goes, can you read this? He didn't even say please. He starts talking to me like I'm, like I was like, did I just get hired as your assistant, you fucking cunt? I didn't even know what he was talking about, all of those numbers. I'm not a fucking banker. Every time he told me to read off a number, he had to explain what the number is. Like, how is that quicker? Oh, Jesus. So I meditated for the first time in about 6 weeks. I'm just trying, yeah, I know. To the guy at the bank, maybe I could have explained it a little nicer. Maybe I couldn't have just flipped out here. But, you know this. That's what I wanted to say in the bank, but I didn't, okay? I just fucking kept my cool. But, like, you work at the bank, I don't. I need you to do this transaction. I have money in your bank. Back in the day, you guys used to give, like, 10%. 8% on fucking money in the bank. You now give like 0.0001%. Okay? So now you don't give me any money on it. You've loaned 10 times out on what I fucking have there. You guys invent money. You're literally counterfeiters. And now I have to go in there. You guys nuke the fucking economy every 8 fucking years, building housing bubbles or whatever, and you don't go to jail for it, and you leave Americans upside down in their houses, and you don't give a fuck. And then on top of that, I gotta go in and read the fucking numbers off to you? Fuck off. I know this is childish for me to be sitting here alone, losing my mind, but I cannot lie to you and not tell you how fucking good this feels to get this out of me. You know, part of my meditation today is I'm actually doing this series on patience. Swear to God. And the guy said, oh God, what the fuck did he say? It almost made me mad when I was like, I wanted to debate with the guy, but I can't because it's just a recording. He basically said that when you lose your patience, it's because you have expectations of other people. Okay? And then when you react to that, it's like your fault for reacting to it. For having, you're wrong to have these expectations of people. And I'm thinking in my head, like that doesn't make any, I'm, at this point, I'm wrong that I expect people to put in an effort at their job the way that I do. And the way that I did. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but when I always, any job I had, I fucking killed it. Unless I just literally didn't have the talent, like construction. I could bring you the shit. I just didn't have that gift. Or I tried to sell health insurance. I just wasn't good at it. And you know what I did? I had the decency with both of those jobs to quit within a week and a half. I didn't fucking sit there and torture people and just suck at my job as they came walking in, or worse, try to make them do part of my job. So I'm listening to this guy, and he's talking in a very soothing voice like this, some sort of British accent. When we walk in there, we have, it's Headspace. Hello again, welcome to Headspace. When we have expectations of other people, gives us a tendency to, he tries to like lose our patience. Like, don't get all fucking jolly, because you know that's, you know what it is? He's doing that because he knows there's an angry cunt like me laying on the ground going, like, okay, so now you're defending this guy at the bank? You weren't even fucking there. You know? So now basically what you're saying is in order for me to have patience, I have to basically treat people the way I treat my daughter, which is I understand that she's a baby and doesn't know anything yet. You know? So I have to have 100% patience with her, which I do. But that's because she's a baby. So now I'm supposed to walk in and sit across from a 27-year-old guy in his, you're going to like the way you look, I guarantee it, fucking suit. And as he tells me to do, how could I have done that better? I guess what I should have said is, sir, I don't mean any disrespect, but I'm not going to read those numbers to you. I feel that you work at the bank and I am the customer, and I feel that that crosses a boundary that I'm not comfortable with. Well, I guess I could have said that, right? And when he exhaled, I probably should, like, when he exhaled, like, it was like someone fucking twisted a knife in my back. I wanted to fucking, like, did you just fucking exhale? Yeah, because once again, I guess I had expectations that this guy, you know, I had the ability to fucking look at a paper with all the answers to the test on it while typing at the same time. I mean, I can do that. I could do that for half a page, and I'll only make a couple of mistakes, and I taught myself how to do it. What the fuck? How much more easier does life have to be? And then, I was also thinking when I left, it was like, you know something? My wife would have just read the numbers off to him. She would have read the numbers off to him, and then afterwards, I would have said, like, why did you just do that? You did your job. She goes, well, you're right. You're right. I probably shouldn't have done that. But, it got it done quick, I just didn't want to have the argument, blah, blah, blah. And she continues on, and she's a way, way happier person. On paper, I think. On paper. I don't know, something, the thing about women is the big red flag is the level of shopping that they do and the amount of shit that they buy. Like, that's, I don't know. There's a fucking unhappiness there. There's something psychotic going on with just the sheer amount of clothes and shit that they buy and just stuff that they fucking buy. I don't see tranquility in it. I feel like that's like eating fucking, C's candies. They just love having that UPS driver showing up and, oh, it's a little package for me, I actually judge how well my relationship's going by how often the fucking UPS driver comes to the door. If he's coming a lot, then I need to take her out to dinner or something. If, he's coming every once in a while, then that's just her doing the woman thing of basically, fucking kicking our retirement right in the seats. All right, I didn't need to go. Okay. Whatever. I apologize to everybody. I apologize to that first guy at the fucking Verizon store. I apologize for the way I conveyed what I was trying to say to the David Blaine looking dude at the bank. I don't know. Maybe it's a new world. Maybe I'm just a fucking old guy. Maybe that's why I don't fucking know. I don't know. I still think I'm right. But I'm going to learn in the future not to have expectations of people and just sit there as the sands of my life slip away, waiting for somebody to do their fucking job that they get paid to do. Ever since I got back from Canada, Canada, you bunch of freezing cunts, I just got back from there. And I kind of realized that when I go on the road with the fellas, we act like we're on some sort of bachelor party. I don't know what it is, minus the fucking who is. Everything else, we basically, we booze and we smoke cigars and that thing, and it's just, it takes a lot out of me. And I got a bunch of shit I got to do, so I kind of need to be clear-headed as opposed to the usual. Usually when I got nothing going on in my life, I mean, I can fucking, I can have a few, right? I can wake up the next morning like, Jesus Christ, we'll get some fucking eggs or something, right? I can be in that mindset, but as of right now, I can't. So I have not done anything. I haven't done shit. I haven't drank. I haven't smoked. I'm eating pretty good.
even laying off the internet porn. I mean, it's just fucking over. I actually got this Time magazine that was about internet porn and how it's like fucking people up, you know, especially like kids, you know, when they first, like, just the shit, who's kidding who? The shit you can see on the fucking internet. I can't believe nobody stepped in. I'm not saying somebody should step in, but, you know, I got to tell you, if they knew what the fuck the internet was going to be whenever Al Gore was inventing it back in the 80s, I never said that. I said that I was involved in the email chain, whatever the fuck he said. That fucking guy. Remember when his campaign was over? Remember when he was dancing around and all sweaty and all that shit? He just looked like he was so fucking relieved that it was over. What a thing to go through, running for president. I just saw a clip of Hillary Clinton. I have not been paying attention at all, but Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened to her? She looks like Earl fucking Weaver. She looks like Earl Weaver. She was doing something, right? She was standing in some black church, right? Baptist church, I'm going to assume. You know, I don't think it was a Jewish synagogue there, whatever the fuck they could, temple. She's in this green suit. She's just like yelling, all the shit she was going to do. That's the only time a politician goes near the black community is when they're running. They swing by the church, they make a whole bunch of promises, and then they get in the fucking limo and they go, let's get the fuck out of here, right? Fuck out of Dodge. Then they go over, they do a town meeting, talk to all the lunch pail Louis, right? Then if there's even those people left in this country, if you fucking make anything, and they get over there and they roll up their sleeves. That's when, you know, they're talking to the working man. They take off their sport coat and they roll up their sleeves. You know, like they're going to build something rather than just go out there and say the exact same bullshit they just said in the Baptist church with more of a fucking lunch pail swing to it, right? And the whole fucking thing. It's just gross. I don't know how anybody sits there and watch that shit. But the latest thing that I've become fascinated with is I completely leave whatever the fuck I was just talking about. I'll come back to it, the clean living thing. Who wants to listen about clean living? It's the most boring shit ever. You know? Anyways, I've become fascinated with how super rich people avoid paying taxes. It's fucking fascinating. It's one of those things, you know, it's like you got to respect it on a certain level. It's the brilliance of it. And then there's a certain level of balls that takes because you're fucking with your freedom. Anytime you're fucking with taxes, you know what I mean? Fucking with the government, anytime you're doing that, I mean, you know, what is it? I don't know what the fuck. Is that a federal thing? I guess if you're not paying your federal income tax, yeah, Bill, that would probably be a federal crime. I don't know. I always hear you got to cross state borders. Do you have to, like, not pay taxes and then leave your state before it becomes federal? I don't know. I don't know these things. But anyways, just the balls that it takes and the, I don't know. I don't like people physically hurting other people, that type of crime. But when there's something like robbing banks or tax evasion or even a good old-fashioned fucking scam, if there's like an amazing level of thought behind it, on some level you got to respect it, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I remember a long time ago, there was some fucking guy, he figured out how to rob parking meters. And they were, allegedly, it was impossible to do. So this guy figured out how to fucking do it. It's amazing. And he did this shit. This is back in like the 80s or some shit. This guy figured out how to do it. So it was way, way, way easier to not have everybody breathing down your fucking throat. You know, people be having eggs watching you fucking robbing a parking meter. They didn't have a fucking smartphone on them. They'd just be sitting there going, look at this fucking guy just... Is that guy robbing a parking meter? Holy shit! The fucking guy just robbed the parking... Did you see that? Anybody see that? That was it. That's all that fucking happened. Rather than some douche sitting there filming you and you're arrested before you even get home. Right? And then the fucking local newscasters, they always got to do some sort of fucking bad pun. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, this guy's life, his freedom is now going to change. You know, they do that. Somehow they get away with that in, like, fucking newspapers. Like, they can have the biggest fucking puns ever, and everybody thinks it's great. You know? I don't know. I can't even think of one right now, but whatever. You sit at home and you think about it. You sit at your fucking cubicle instead of doing your goddamn work. You think of one. So anyways, this fucking guy figured out how to do this shit. And, of course, the parking meter guards were beside themselves. You know what I mean? It was like one of those sci-fi movies. Or like the Titanic movie. Like, not even God can sink it. That's what they were like. Not even God could get the fucking quarters out of this meter. This meter, right? They were talking all kinds of shit. So this fucking guy figured out how to do it. And you're thinking like, all right, whatever, man. What the fuck are you going to do with that? Well, dude, there's fucking meters all over the city. So this guy, anytime he wanted a drink, if he wanted a fucking sandwich, dude, he had it perfect. It was like his own ATM machine before ATM machines. He'd just walk up, bing, bang, boom. He had a sack of fucking quarters. You go down to the bank. You go, hey, can I get one of some of them roly fucking things there? Right? Yeah, sure. They don't give a shit. Nobody gave a fuck back then. Nobody was paying attention. They were trying to pay attention, but not to that type of shit. So this guy would roll the fucking quarters. You know? Rolls enough quarters. Next thing you know, he gets himself out. How the fuck would you get all those quarters down to a car dealership? I have no fucking idea. Although I talked to some drug dealers about how they fucking, or a guy who knew drug dealers. Let's be honest here, Bill. Let's not act like that news guy saying that you were in the war and then you were in a chopper or some shit next to the chopper and you didn't really fucking see it. Okay, you took a fucking helicopter tour one time. You weren't even in Iraq. Whatever the fuck he said. I don't pay attention to shit. So anyways, I was talking to this guy and basically how back in the day when drug dealers were still driving around in flashy cars, because from what I heard nowadays, they don't even want to attract that level of attention. How it used to be was any cash deal that was over 10 grand had to be fucking reported. So what these drug dealers would do was they would go out and they'd buy a car worth 9 grand for cash, and then they drive it around for like a fucking week, and then they trade it in for a car worth 16 grand. Maybe get 7 for theirs, and then they throw another fucking 9 at the other car. Now they got a $16,000 car. You drive around for a little bit, you fucking trade it in on a $23,000 car. They give you whatever, and so on and so forth. Until you trade your way all the way up to whatever fucking car you wanted. I just look at that shit. It's like, I mean, that's not the deepest thing, but that's the way my brain would work. I'd be like, well, I guess I got to drive a piece of shit then. What's the point of dealing drugs? Right? Or I'd just say, fuck it. I'm buying a Ferrari, and I'm going to drive it until they catch me fucking 3 weeks later. By the way, the Ferrari I like is the Ferrari California. That's the old man one. The fucking GT, the Grand Touring one, right? I don't need to ride around in some Batmobile. Just give me one that's shaped like a fucking Jaguar from back in the day, you know? Or maybe a Toyota Supra. Remember those fucking things from the 80s? I remember this guy loaned me his. Well, he used my truck to move, and I ran and I beat the shit out of his car, and he beat the fuck out of my truck, and we both got our cars back, and he's smelling rubber. And I'm seeing all kinds of scratches all over my truck, and we just, it's kind of a fair deal, right? And then we both got arrested for drinking and driving months later. But that's a completely different story. I know, I'm all over the map. I'm doing this late night, and I don't want to be doing it right now, but I got shit to do in the morning. So anyways, this fucking guy, you know, if he had half a fucking brain, what you do is you keep your day job. Right? You keep your fucking day job, and then, you know, for anything miscellaneous, you just go to the parking meters. Right? And what you do is you start storing up on the quarters. Then every once in a while, right, you start washing the money with your fucking cat. I know what you do. You fucking, you go into stores and stuff. Who gives a fuck, right? You just use it to get yourself a better TV. But what does this dope do? He gets fucking greedy. I don't even remember how the fucking story goes. All I know is he just started hitting every fucking goddamn parking meter around. The next thing you know, he's sitting on like a fucking $2 million in quarters, and he ended up getting busted. But there was a part of it, I liked the guy, you know? So anyways, this gets me to the super rich on how, you know, all of that shit about the Panama Papers and all that type of stuff. I was talking to another friend of mine who's a fucking lawyer, and I was like, how does that work? Like, how do you get your money out of the country? And then once it's out of the country, how do you make sure nobody steals it? Like what happened to Johnny Depp's character in Blow. And then once you have it out of the country, how do you get it back in without just getting taxed all over again or busted? And he said, basically, this is it. He broke the whole fucking thing down, all right? Or as far as I know, he broke an aspect of it down. I know all you guys are sitting there right now going, oh, Jesus, he's going to try to explain. I am. I'm going to try to explain some shit that was just explained to me, and I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about. So let's get rid of one myth right out of the gate. I remember a long time ago, a friend of mine had a fucking landscaping business, and he already had a truck, and he went out and he bought this giant fucking, you know, one of those things with the dual wheels on the back and this fucking giant bed. Look like you put cattle in it, right? And I was like, holy fuck, man, how much does that thing cost? And, you know, it's like the 80s. It cost like 25 grand, which was a lot of fucking money back then, right? For a truck, you know? It's like 10 grand more than you pay. 25, 30 grand or some shit, right? I was like, holy shit, man, you can afford that? And he was like, yeah, it's a write-off. That's what a lot of dopes say. And it is a write-off. But what they think is that they can write $30,000 off of their taxes. What you can't. What you can do is you can write off, it's a write-off as far as that 30 grand that you just spent on that truck is untaxable. All right? It's sitting in whatever. You made that money. You made 30 grand. If it's just sitting there and you don't put it back into play as far as reinvesting into your business, the government will tax you at the end of the year, you know, on that 30 grand. And let's say you're in like a fucking, whatever, 20% tax bracket, that you'd have to give the government fucking 6 grand. Right? That's it. So people, morons think, oh, I get to write 30, in the end of the year, if I owed 40 grand in taxes and I bought a $30,000 truck, I get to take $30,000 off of my taxes. You wouldn't. You'd just be able to knock off 6 grand. Right? And you're not even knocking it off. You're just not getting taxed on that. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't, because I explained it. So anyways, when you have your own business, what you're trying to do is you're trying to come up with as many fucking write-offs as you possibly can. Many expenses, everything you possibly can to lower your basic, whatever your income as far as what is going to be taxable. So say you made fucking 100 grand, all right? You grossed 100 grand. The net is what you're left with after your expenses. You try to fucking come up with as many goddamn expenses as you can to get that 100 grand as far down as zero as possible. Ideally, you wouldn't want to pay any fucking taxes as far as these people look. But the bottom line is you can only do it so much, and if you write off too much, the IRS is going to show up and be like, what's this fucking, 60 grand for fucking cheeseburgers, blah, 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 you tried to write off, and you're going to get busted. All right? So what these fucking super rich people do is the first thing they do is they get the fucking money out of the country because the IRS's jurisdiction doesn't go beyond the borders. So what they do is they just create a company that doesn't exist. It's just on paper. Right? So say you make $100 million, right? What you do is you go to a country that doesn't give a shit about America and lets you use it as a tax shelter. You just come up with some incorporated thing. Like who?
My stream's not even that delayed. I said my stream's not even really delayed. I just paused it like 5 or 7 seconds ago before it fucking stopped on yours. And there's also a phone delay.
Thing. Like who gives a fuck Inc. Right? And then you just have that company bill your company a consulting fee for $100 million or whatever, whatever of the $100 million, 30, 40, 50, whatever you don't want to pay taxes on, whatever. And then you write a check.
See the delay? You didn't hear me? I said I just paused it. I'll tell you when I unpause it. I'll just count down. 3, 2, 1.
to that company that doesn't exist that's really you. And then you send it out. So now it's out of the fucking country. And then what they do is they open up like 10 other of these fucking shell companies, and they have those other companies build the first company, and then the third one builds the second one, the fourth one, and it's just gone. The money's fucking gone. Now the IRS can come at you and be like, what the fuck did you pay somebody $100 million consulting fee? And then you're telling me you paid somebody $100 million as a consulting fee, and then you just look at them and go, yes. And evidently there's nothing they can fucking do about it. So then I go, all right, so now it's out of the country, and then it's in this other country. How the fuck do you protect it? And he goes, well, those countries where these tax shelters are, they're in on the scam, so you just kick them 10% of the $100 million. You give them 10. Here's fucking whatever you can negotiate. We'll just make it easy. Here's $10 million bucks. So I'll give you $10 million rather than giving the government fucking 50, 55, 60 million at $100 million. I'm still fucking up $45 million. All right? So then I was like, all right, so now how do you get the money back? Because if, you bring the money back, you stick it to the bank, they're going to consider that earned income. Like, where the fuck did you get it? And this guy was like, they bring it back into the country in the form of a loan. Loans aren't taxable, right? Like if you get a fucking loan because you're already paying interest on it and everything, they don't tax you. So they just bring it back in the form of a loan, whatever the fuck you want to do. I want to buy a $10 million house. You have this shell company that's 10 times removed from the one that you paid from the consulting fee, right? And they can't follow the paper trail because it's in a different country, right? You just bring it back into the country in the form of a loan. And then you go buy a fucking house. And I guess, I don't know, you pretend to make payments or the loan is forgiven by this shell company that's still you. I know I just glossed over that, and if anybody has more information on it, I find it absolutely fascinating. There's other ones, they just pretend that that's their main business, that shell company, so they just act like it's doing I don't know. That's as far as I can remember that what he told me, and I found that shit absolutely fucking fascinating, because at the end of the fucking day, as far as what they're doing, I know they're fucking over you and me because, the school systems go down the shitter because they don't have enough money. There's a lot of potholes. There's all kinds of stuff. You can't take care of homeless people. You can't build another gleaming structure for a fucking sports team, whatever the fuck it is. At the end of the day, as fucked up as that is, these people who are criminals, they're stealing from other criminals. As far as my conspiracy theory goes, the IRS is just a bunch of fucking crooks anyway. So, I mean, it's kind of fascinating watching these two giant, powerful entities fuck with each other. Meanwhile, I'm in the crosshairs, you're in the crosshairs, and we're all paying Elvis taxes. And there goes Hillary Clinton screaming in some Baptist church. Is she talking about that shit? Of course she isn't. Because when you bring the fucking money back in, you just don't bring it in and go out and buy yourself your fucking Ferrari California. What you do is, you do that, but what you also do is you walk around with nice wad of cash and you go, oh, hey, chief of police. Oh, look at that birdie over there. And as he looks over, you stuff a fucking wad of cash in his pocket, And then, is it an election year? Yeah, I'll take $2 million on Trump. Give me 2.5 on Hillary, and fuck it. Give me $500,000 on Bernie Sanders. What do you mean he's not taking any money from guys like me? Oh, is that right? Well, whatever. He won't get in. And if he does, I'll give $3 million to, silence him. That's what the fuck they do. And that's how they I'm convinced of that. I'm convinced as far as like stand-up comedy goes, you know why they're always giving us shit? Is because if stand-up comedians just organized, okay, and we donated to the campaigns of people running to the Democratic and the Republican parties, right? And then we bought a little ad time on CNN and on Fox News and all these major networks. If we did that, you'd never see another comedian getting in trouble for doing a fucking Caitlyn Jenner joke. Anyways, if anybody has any more information on that, or they can talk about it. I don't like if it's really dry. I just like I'm fascinated with people that do shit like that and then they go to bed knowing what the fuck they're doing. And they got to be thinking at some point, like, the wolf's got to be coming to the door at some point. Hang on one second. I got to answer this. All right, so I'm back. Of course, I completely forget what the fuck where I ended off. But what I really learned when I was, listening to this lawyer telling me all this shit. I know. I say the balls that takes to go to bed at night, knowing at any point, like, all of a sudden the fucking feds are going to kick in your fucking door. But I think that these guys are like the smarter ones. And when you watch like American Greed, what I noticed when I watched them, all of their fuckery was within the borders of the United States. Which if you're too dumb to know, you don't realize you're not going to get away with it forever. But like, once after talking to this guy, it just seems like anybody who just tries to have their entire illegal entity within the borders of one country is, you're just on borrowed time. So I think when you watch American Greed, what you're really seeing is the hacks of, you always see these fucking idiots. They buy a house, they get all these fucking cars, and they have some strippers come over. Oh, my fucking laptop. Oh, that was a laptop hitting hardwood floors. Come on, baby. Come on, come around. You're all right. Hang in there. Help is on the way. Fuck. Oh, you fucking motherfucker. Steve Jobs is laughing somewhere right now. He's laughing at me because I got to give him money, and he also knows there's going to be another little kid's got to put it together. All right, it's saved. It's saved. So anyways, let's read a little bit of fucking ad shit here before my screen goes dark. Hang on a second. I find that shit, I find all that stuff fucking amazing. It's really, really interesting. If you just remove yourself from it, the humanity of it or whatever, and all the people that it's affecting and kids not getting better school books and shit, if you just look at the fucking game that's going on, it's really fucking interesting. All right, 60 Minutes, everybody. All right, hey, Bill. I saw your tweet about 60 Minutes about the talking robot piece. Yeah, Charlie Rose was sitting there talking to this artificial intelligent robot that really moved bad. Speaking of fucking Westworld,
according to the old saying.
And he asked the robot what its goals were. First of all, that a robot would have goals, like a person, okay? And the robot said, my goal is to one day be smarter than human beings. So I tweeted, I basically tweeted, please unplug that fucking thing. All right? So he goes, I come somewhere between unplug it and fuck it. It seems like everyone knows the machines will be our doom, but I feel like everyone involved and even everyone else just looking on has a but will they take over type of curiosity. My question, I don't know what you meant by all that. My question to you is that if in 10 years the robots
Just unpause that video of the dog. Yeah, I know.
are filling in as clerks at stores or working the lobby of hotels, would you be comfortable as a customer in those locations? Also, I highly recommend the new Westworld remake on HBO. Yes, I thought that was Netflix. My fault. HBO. It's totally up your alley, and I'm sure you remember the original with good old Yul Brynner. How funny is that? Yeah.
Let me see if I can find what it was. Yeah, this. I got all of this max. Low latency quality, everything. The only thing that's not is my video. And I shouldn't need my video, it's my audio that needs fucking max. I got this max.
Do you think that there is potential entry into the inner Earth through the poles?
From the Google Earth, you can see gigantic, massive openings. Some are several kilometers wide. There's been accounts of military pilots flying into some of these openings. There's a supermassive pyramid in Antarctica. I mean supermassive. And some military soldiers have come forward with their testimony about the fact that it's still emitting some type of exotic energy. All the leaders of the world have gone down there. More recently, Buzz Aldrin went there, one of the first people to walk on the moon, and he was completely horrified at what he found out. He actually went on Twitter and made a tweet that said something to the effect of, "They are pure evil, we're in trouble."
Places in America that the government doesn't want you knowing about. This is the MickelsonSafeguard Complex in North Dakota. This place was originally created in 1975 as a way to deter missiles from the Russians. But here's the weird part. This site cost $6 billion to make. Mysteriously, the site was only operational for a single day. It opened on October 1st, 1975, and then closed down the next day on October 2nd, 1975. Really gonna try to tell me that the government dropped $6 billion on this place just to keep it operational for less than 24 hours? But for real, just look at this place. Like, are you serious? Many people have theorized that this could be a possible headquarters for the Illuminati, given its extremely close resemblance to the pyramid that's commonly associated with them. Also guys, when I was doing research on this place, I clicked on their website, and what came up I can't show on TikTok, but go look it up for yourselves, it'll creep you out.
If you've ever wondered what a skinwalker looks and sounds like, this is a great example. They imitate human sounds to lure you in, thinking you need to go help someone, before you realize that it's too late.
That's gotta be someone, like, that could be the most random video ever. Someone could have just been like, have you ever heard of a skinwalker? Today I found one when I was out in the woods. And it could just be his homie out there, somebody, help me. That's, it's that fucking easy. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, whoop whoop. Hell no.
Government conspiracies that actually turned out to be true. Warning, some of these will make you doubt your government. The first theory that was proven to be true is that the CIA created a heart attack gun. The theory states that the CIA built a secret weapon in the 60s and 70s that could cause a fatal heart attack. The weapon shot a small dart that left nothing behind except for a small red dot on the skin. The target would only feel a small prick, kind of like a bug bite, but would be poisoned. Poison would also not be detected in an autopsy. The next one is actually crazy. In fact, my mom couldn't even believe this one. Another theory proven to be accurate includes the government poisoning alcohol. When the government banned alcohol in 1920, bootleggers would steal industrial alcohol used in paints, fuels, and solvents, and medical supplies and re-distill it for sale. In an attempt to stop people from drinking alcohol, the government changed the formulas of industrial alcohol to make it completely undrinkable. More than 10,000 individuals died because of this. Comment below for part 2.
If you remember that. I remember seeing an episode where the alcohol got poisoned from, and like the government poisoned the alcohol in The Simpsons.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about if Drake killed X, aka Jahseh Onfroy. So after X passed, a lot of people thought that Drake had something to do with it, and that's because they had some drama over music. X had posted a bunch of tweets which he then claimed that he was hacked and it wasn't actually him. And then he posted this: if anyone tries to kill me, it was Drake. Now what's weird is in some of Drake's songs, he does talk about killing X. Although it depends on how you choose to interpret it, but I'm gonna play you the song right now.
SMS, triple X. That's the only time I ever shoot below the neck. Why you keep on
Now at first I thought, okay, SMS triple X doesn't really mean anything. Except if you translate SMS to send my shooters, triple X, that's the only time I shoot below the neck. It's a clear picture of X. Even if you look at Drake's song Mob Ties, it talks about hiring some help to get rid of people. What do you think?
You believe this one? I know, that's why I don't want to watch it, but at the same time I do. I want to know why my beat is on here. My YouTube always be doing that shit. We'll watch it. If it'll play.
Hey film freaks, I'm your host Patrick, and today we're covering a 2020 comedy horror movie called Spree. The first scene
Why they gotta bait us in? The bait. I know, I saw it.
Some of Hollywood's greatest conspiracy theories are these cap or fact. We may never know. Rumor has it Stevie Wonder may not be blind. If he was, how could he perfectly operate this camera? Sources say O.J. Simpson could be Khloe Kardashian's father. The chemistry here is off the charts. And if Tupac died, why was his photo taken one day after his alleged murder? Is Nicolas Cage really just a Civil War era vampire? Most likely. Is Jay-Z just a time traveler from the Harlem Renaissance? Most likely, yes. And did Gucci Mane really go from running the trap to running track? Or was he cloned in a Georgia jail cell? Who knows?
People with ADHD save 10 hours studying with this Chrome extension. But no, by all means.
Favorite part after coming home after a long day of work is just getting to take off my socks.
Alright, smile if you're alive.
At any rate, that is what we're going to try to do.
The shot is swishy. Ooh, but you
Swishy, nipply, nipply.
Hi, can I get a medium iced coffee? And everything bagel toasted with extra plain cream cheese? And a side order of bacon?
Who could tell me how the formula begins? X equals...
Skip it up and that up.
Sinandang pera kayo, di ba nga to?
Ay, sabi ko nga, nawa, jangan itu matai kay kay dia hilang na
That one was fucking good.